Hi Libra, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 16th to the 30th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Libra, September 16th to the 30th, 2021, Libra. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy. If we have Sagittarius within our natal chart, that's going to be coming through very powerfully as a rooting energy for us. And then we have ourselves, Libra, coming through as Justice. We're represented by Justice in the major arcana. We're represented by the swords in the minor arcana. So this is a time where we find balance within ourselves, because we have Temperance, which is all about balance, Justice, which has the scales of balance coming through. So that's going to be really quite beautiful, quite intense. We have the Three of Water, the Three of Cups, and the Six of Fire. There's a beautiful revelation that's coming forward for us. In our hearts, we have the Eight of Cups. We're walking away from something we once thought we would love. It's like, no, it doesn't fit me. I get to move forward. And then we have the Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. If we have fire sign energy within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully within our hearts. If this fire sign energy happens to be Sagittarius, this is going to be a very powerful energy for us during this time. Very much kind of like look to see where it shows up within your natal chart, see what that correlates to, and know that that part of your personality is going to be coming out quite intensely during this time. Then we have the King of Pentacles in the public arena, prosperity, success, bounty. This is earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. If we're born on the cusp with Virgo, this is going to be even more intense. And then we have the Devil, which is Capricorn energy. The King of Pentacles amplifies the Capricorn energy, because Capricorn is an earth sign energy. What we're going to see here is that our strengths aren't always going to be seen as blessings. So there's something here that we have to kind of like step back and not look at not look at the scene. So if you look here, you think, oh my gosh, like that's gruesome. I remember when I first got this deck, I thought, oh, I don't like that scene at all. And now this time, using it, I was like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense. You have the bobcat here, and a bobcat is fierce, or whatever the heck type of cat that is. You have him eating a rabbit because he's not a vegetarian. He is going to eat to survive. And you have the traps set up. So here, there's a part of our personality, there's a part of ourselves that isn't bad. Like, this isn't saying, like, a bad part of us that does malicious, hurtful, hateful things, that should be suppressed and should be talked about to somebody. This is saying that we need to feed all aspects of ourselves. And sometimes one scene, like one way of just looking at it, it would just, like the picture caught in one scene, it doesn't look the best. But if we then saw that this bobcat had to go home and feed her cubs, or had to feed herself, would we think differently? And the answer is yes. Yes, we would. So let me take a sip of water. Just give me one moment. Okay. So let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. And this is Sir Nunu. So this is the devil energy coming through. Now, the devil energy, we always have to be mindful of it, even if there's a good lesson to be learned from it. Because the devil tells us to be mindful of our addictions, of the parts of our personality that can kind of get out of hand. It could be procrastination. It could be, overeating. It could be, not sleeping enough. It could be, having a short temper. It could be traditional addictions like drugs and alcohol. What we have to look at here is the way chaos comes into our life and the way that we need to balance that chaos, understand that chaos. Because Sir Nunus isn't necessarily the devil. He's the nature god of chaos in Celtic tradition. So here we have to look at the chaos within our own nature, our own self. And instead of being consumed by it or letting it consume us, we see it for what it is. We see it for, kind of the obstacle to look at, to be honest about, to maybe get support with and help for, but to be able to move us forward in a very powerful, very bountiful way once we get to see, where we stand and why we stand there and what chaos needs to be looked at. This is also going to say, be very mindful of, with other people, of falling into instant gratification, of, oh, this feels good, or, oh my gosh, this person seems like they have all the same interests as me and all the same drive as I do. Be very mindful about this, because it's saying here, for every action, be it positive or negative, for every action there is a positive or negative reaction. And that's going to be very, very, very real here. Our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Is rebirth. This is the Earth Star chakra located 6 inches below our feet. We are seeing ourselves reborn. We are seeing ourselves transformed. As we connect with the earth, as we connect with ourselves, as we connect with what we want and what we need from life, we see ourselves transformed and moved forward towards something greater, towards flying to new heights. It leads us to temperance. It leads us to balance. It leads us to transformation, because she's pouring a cup of tea and that water had to be boiled. It had to steep, and then it made a cup of tea. And so we're going to see ourselves during this time. We need to boil. We need to kind of get all the impurities out of us to be able to purify the water that flows within us, our blood, our spirit, our soul, the fact that we're made up of 70% water, if not better, and move forward towards the balance, towards the understanding of what we want. But our movement during this time isn't going to be instantaneous. It isn't going to be reacting right away. We need to steep in it. We need to see it. We need to understand it. And then we need to pour ourselves that cup of tea. We need to savor it, consume it, become a part of it, a part of our understanding, a part of what quenches us, a part of what moves us forward, and it brings us to us. This balance, this harmony, this respect for taking time and seeing the purpose within it, within things and within ourselves. It moves us to us. It moves us to justice. Now, justice isn't just white page, black print. This is the letter of law, and this is the only thing that it can be. It's being just. It's being discerning. It's saying, this is what's right for me, and this is what isn't. This is how I need to move forward, and this is how I cannot. And it's finding that balance. It's gaining that understanding. And as we find that balance and gain that understanding and see what we desire, it moves us to the 3 of water. It moves us to this place where we start to look at the hurts and the pains and the disappointments that defined us. For me, the Three of Cups is always that person who couldn't hold the cup up for us or to us for long, who we thought celebrated us, but just couldn't. They just couldn't do it. It wasn't part of their journey, and it was part of our journey to have them leave us, to have them go a different path or not be able to be there for us. And that's a hard lesson to learn. It always is. But it also lets us know when people stand by us. We tend to overlook those people as human beings. We tend to go towards and try to please the person who cannot be pleased. But now we look at it and say, why? Why am I wasting my energy on you when I should be giving my energy and giving myself to people who respect me, to myself who I respect, and moving forward within that love and that passion and that power and that brilliance and that celebration? It moves us to the Six of Fire. Now it is time to celebrate me. I may not be perfect, and I may never be perfect, but I get to be celebrated. I get to be loved. I get to be cherished. I get to be enough. Because as I embrace who I am, I get to be just to myself, which means that I get to be discerning of the energy that is around me, that of the energy that, pulls me forward and guides me and leads me. I get to see me openly and honestly, purposefully and powerfully. And then it moves us to the Eight of Cups. It's like, as I learn in our inner selves, Libra, as we learn to celebrate ourselves, love ourselves, rejoice within ourselves, it moves us to the Eight of Cups, which says here, I walk away from what I once thought I would love. I walk away from what I once loved. It doesn't fit me anymore. It doesn't suit me anymore. There's a new stage of my life. There's a new power and purpose and passion guiding me forward. And that is everything. And as I find this balance, and as I understand this purpose, and as I see myself openly and honestly, I can leave things that no longer have a place. It moves us to the Queen of Wands. Fire, determination, focus, and insight. It moves us to a place where we start to say, what lights my heart on fire? What fills me with passion and what does not? What do I not care about? And what do I care about? And why? What is important to me? The Queen of Wands always makes me think of Hestia in Greek mythology. She was the queen of fire, and she was one of the main Olympians. But the thing is that they needed to have an equal amount of gods and goddesses once they finished fighting the Titans. And there were too many. There wasn't an equal amount. And so Hestia said, I step down. I don't need to be a main Olympian when nobody else would step down or even consider it. And because she stepped down, because she became a lesser goddess, she was worshipped in every home of the ancient Greek and ancient Roman world. She was the center of that home. She was the goddess of the hearth. And that power and that beauty is something that is commendable. And also it's very, kind of outside the realm of norm for Greek myths. And so here, we're embracing the warmth that is at the center of our fire. We're embracing the hearth that is us. What is the passion that warms us? What is the passion that guides us? What is the passion that cooks our food and leads us forward? What is the passion that is a part of who we are and how we need to be? And why do we judge ourselves against other people's passions, other people's desires? This is a time where we're not afraid to roll up our sleeves. We're not afraid to dive into what our heart needs, our heart wants, and our heart sees. But we have to be very mindful that we're not just falling into the lust of a moment instead of something of great value and great depth. It moves us to the King of Pentacles. In the public arena, we are prosperous, successful, and driven. We are nurturing the seeds that we have planted, the desires that we have, the bounty that we want to see spring forward within our lives. And this is a time where people see us as successful. But what is more importantly, this is a time where we start to see ourselves as successful. We start to see things differently, more insightfully, more purposefully, more in truth with where we want to be, but also with honor of where we were. And as we claim our passion and our prosperity, as we look at our wealth, as we see the interconnectedness of things, whereas before we might have thought everything was separate, we're now starting to see that they're connecting and coming together and gaining insight and gaining power and gaining passion. We start to see our worth, we start to see our bounty, and we start to call forward our wealth in such a way that it really is awing. During this time and in the public arena, this is not a time to undersell ourselves, Libra. This isn't a time to be braggadocious or egotistical. It never is. But it's saying here, know your worth, and do not let anybody take that worth from you. It moves us to the devil. It moves us to this part of ourselves in the public arena where we look at our addictions, and we say, wow, I need to put my cell phone in a drawer in another room to get my work done. Wow, I need to not have a glass of wine, or wow, I need to, make sure I get outside and take a walk when I feel anxious, because that grounds me. We start to see ourselves, not in the way that necessarily we want to see ourselves, but in the way that is open and honest and truthful, and saying, this is what I need in order to survive, in order to walk past the snares that try to trap me. And as I claim the path that I need to walk, and I understand what I need to do in order to feed myself, in order to take care of what needs to be taken care of, I then thrive. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the King of Pentacles, is getting in our own way when it comes to wealth, when it comes to prosperity and success. It's a blessing, but we also have to be mindful not to make it our only goal. Not to say, oh, you always have to push, you always have to challenge, you never get a moment to rest. No, you get to be kind and caring and compassionate to yourself. Build the wealth. Wealth is important. Money can't buy you happiness, but what is the rest of that saying? It sure as heck helps. Or, one of the sayings to it. It can't buy you happiness. It's not going to fix all your problems. But having the electricity on, having the heat on, being able to put food in the belly, that's important. And so we look at success and we honor it as it needs to be honored, but we do not worship it, because it is not meant to be worshipped. And be very, very mindful of the people who do worship it. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, which is abundance, which is funny. We were just told not to worship, wealth, and then at our root is abundance, prosperity, happiness, success, bounty. We're not meant to be in poverty. We're meant to be in wealth, whether that be financial wealth or the wealth of the spirit and the soul. That is depending on our own journey in this life. Abundance calls us. This is not a time to play down our gifts or to walk away from our blessings. This is a time to take them and saying, I am worth this wealth, this prosperity, this success, and this bounty. It moves us to our subconscious rooted message, which is the Hermit, Virgo energy. If we're born on the cusp with Virgo, this comes through very powerfully. The light guides us forward. It is the inner light. It is the quiet. It is the peace. It is the insight of the self that moves us towards where we need to be, soul, spirit, and being. There needs to be quiet. There needs to be alignment during this time. It moves us to our subconscious inner self, which is the Nine of Fire. The Nine of Fire, the Nine of Wands, is listening to everybody else. It's this bit of a battle. But it's also saying everything can grow. This, cacophony of fruit, it can all be there. Because there is a place and a space for it. We do not all have to be the same. We do not all have to think the same, follow the same path, understand the same things. But we have to do, and what's really important to do within this world, is honor each person's right to walk their path, to have their voice, and to embrace their dreams. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self, and that's the Magician. As above, so below. As you believe it, so it becomes. Wealth comes forward through thought. We stand before the altar of our existence, claiming our power, claiming our abundance, claiming our elemental truth. And we embrace that. We embrace the bounty that moves us forward, and the person that we are, warts and all. And as we do this, we start to see the magic and the power that comes from our thoughts, that comes from our realizations. And we are very aware, subconsciously, of our mind and the path our thoughts are leading us on. Be mindful of your mind, Libra. It moves us to our subconscious public message. The Six of Wands, celebration, success. We have the Six of Wands twice. It is time that we learn to celebrate ourselves, to hold our heads up high in pride of who we are, of what we have accomplished, of how far we have come, and to not waver in the love that we have for us. All right, Libra, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we call forward bounty and blessings, and as we walk forward in success. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Libra.